Part 3 of the struggle. And sorry if it's blurry or whatever, but you know what? These videos are authentic, man. It's just like a video journal and conversation. Plus, you don't need to see my face for this part. Part 3 is basically, who am I? How would I describe myself? Getting into this conversation and topic, so let's do it. Alright, well, I am a lot of things, you know? I am a veteran. I am a guy who really tries to be a loyal and good friend to some. I have a hell of a temper and don't like betrayal, so if there's somebody that's ever crossed paths with me in the wrong way, we probably are not on a good page. I am a believer in a higher power. I'm religious, although it took me a long time to get there and admit that myself, but I do also feel that I try to understand everybody's culture and viewpoint and, try to be scientific as well as religious, if that makes sense. My favorite two subjects ever were history and poetry. I suck at math. I'm a father of many beautiful babies, and I love each and every one of them more than I could ever, say or describe. I've also had my own struggles with each and every one of them and continue to have my own struggles with them, but my love only grows deeper for them every day. I'm a very passionate, empathetic person. I've had my heart broke a lot in my life because when I fall in love very deeply. The woman that I'm with now is definitely the person I would consider to be the love of my life, even though our relationship has truly had some struggles in it, some real struggles. I'm a person who is always trying to be better, but sometimes my pride has made that difficult. When you talk about seven deadly sins, I've always told everybody my sin for sure, my downfall would be pride. That's what would get me. I have, in the past, I have been the kid that's been very lucky with some of the people that have been around me, the kid that's been very hurt by some of the people that's been around me. I have pretty large worldview and a little bit more experience, seeing different things than I think a lot of people do. I have a very mixed family, which has enabled me to really try to understand everybody and people from different backgrounds. I've got some country in me, I've got some city in me. I've probably been a saint at some points in my life, and I've definitely been a sinner and a criminal in others. I've had my issues with alcohol and drugs and violence in my life. I have a much closer relationship with death than I would like to. But I think it also helped mold me. These are things that we'll go over, later on. I've lived an interesting life, man. I've done everything from concrete construction to the military to working security on a movie studio. I'm a musician, so I've stood toe to toe with stars, man. And I've sat on the fucking corner of the street and, shared a coffee with a homeless dude. You know what I mean? Fuck, dude, I seem to find the beauty in some of the most horrible places. I don't know why. I just do. I'm from Nebraska originally. That's where I was born. And I'm really interested to see what you guys know about Nebraska, because it seems to be a place that, unless you're from there or you've ever been through there, a lot of people have a bunch of different opinions about it. It always kind of makes me laugh. Famous people from Nebraska: Hillary Swank, Dave Heineman, the governor, Amont Green. Dominican Sue is not from there, but he played football for the Cornhuskers. You know what I'm saying? I come from a family that has been a very powerful driving force in my life. There's a lot of regrets that I have, and a lot of things I'm trying to make up for in my life. Um, even though I was born in Nebraska, I also grew up a good portion of my life in Missouri and consider myself to be from Missouri a little bit. Love Missouri. Um, you know, but and my dream in life is to be a mortician, which I'm sure watching these videos, a lot of people are like, that's kind of fucking weird, Talking about depression and death and all this stuff. And this guy wants to be a mortician, man. Something must be wrong with him. We'll get to that later on in the videos and I'll explain it. Hopefully it'll give you a better understanding of why that's something I want to do. Um, but yeah, dude, I love superheroes and horror movies. And then, of course, in dealing or making these videos, I've dealt with a lot of struggle in my life in a lot of different respects, man. And I'm somebody that wants to build a community and deal with a lot of issues that I think need to be dealt with more. So that's basically everything I could tell you about myself. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Tell me about yourself,